Good morning, Jayhawks. Thanks for joining our last show this year of Good Morning KU Sports. I'm Lauren Ritchie.
And I'm Savannah Reeves. We have a lot to bring to you today, including a KU football recap, college football check-in, a World Cup update, and more. Cue the intro. As the college football season comes to an end, we have one last check-in.
Welcome back, everyone. Today I have two games to highlight, Texas at Kansas and the Kansas at Kansas State game. Starting with the Texas at Kansas game, the Longhorns were able to come into the booth and make a statement after a final score of 55-14, despite Kansas's quarterback Jalen Daniels being back. It was all Texas in the first half as they scored 31 unanswered points. The Jayhawks with their first points of the game coming at the end of the third quarter after quarterback Jalen Daniels' 14-yard pass was caught by Torrey Loughlin in another touchdown for the Hawks as wide receiver Luke Graham caught the 12-yard pass from Daniels, giving them 7 more. It was not the ending Kansas fans wanted, but the season was not over as they took on the Kansas State Wildcats for a Dillon Sunflower showdown this past Saturday, and the Wildcats pulled away with a final score of 47-27. The Wildcats will take another Sunflower Showdown victory for their 14th straight as they now head into the Big 12 championship game. While that wraps up the regular season for the Jayhawks, they have secured a bowl game. The game has not yet been announced, so keep an eye out for that. This has been Lauren Ritchie, and I'll see you next season.
Welcome back to another segment of Hawk Talk. I'm Lauren Ritchie, joined by Noah Ginsberg and Barry Anderson, and as you can see, they came prepared with their ugly Christmas sweaters, and we're going to be talking all things basketball. Since the last time we've seen you guys, there's been like 8 different games. Starting with the women's teams, they are currently 6-0 and first in the Big 12. Tell me what you like.
So far, they destroyed Texas A&M, a former Big 12 foe, 74-42. And it was an absolute blowout. And they pretty much snapped an 11-game losing streak to the Aggies, and they completely took over the second half with the Aggies only scoring 16 points, with Holly Skeeter scoring 23 points, and it was just a great turnout and a great performance by the women's team.
You mentioned Holly Skeeter, and when they played the Texas Rio Grande Valley, they also took the victory 73-43. She was leading the way with a double-double, 15 points and 11 rebounds. So obviously Holly Skeeter is doing well. Barry, what do you think?
Yeah, she has been a phenom. She's been a phenom. Her and Tiana Jackson lead the team in scoring right now. And going back to the last season, Holly, who also led the team in points, around in the 400 category, is planning to do the same this season. And I feel like KU women's basketball team is great that they're undefeated. And they need more support, because I feel like, not being biased or anything, but their team looks really legit right now to contend for a national championship. So,
they have a very high-power offense, like we've said. They are consecutively scoring in the 70s, as their win against Maine was 76-49, and the win against St. Mary's was 73-53. So there's a lot of games taking place over winter break. So if you're looking for something to do, I'm sure the women's team would love your support. Now over to men's. Noah, what'd you see?
First off with Texas Southern, what I was wanting to see after the Tennessee loss was more people contributing offensively because throughout the year it's been pretty much Grady Dick and Jalen Wilson. So Texas Southern, MJ Rice took over the second half with 19 points, and Joseph Yesufu with 14 points in the Tennessee game and the Texas Southern game. And what really impressed me with the next game against Seton Hall was everybody contributed offensively. Ernest Uday with 10 points, Dwan Harris with 10 points, KJ Adams with 11 points, Kevin McCullough with 17 points, and then Grady Dick and Jalen Wilson with 15 points. Everybody contributed, and if everyone contributes and plays unified, I think this team could really go far.
Exactly, just like this Seton Hall game. Jalen Wilson, the whole starting lineup had over 10 points, and they've been doing great rebounds. You know, all their guards not leading the game in rebounding anymore. Kevin McCullough stepping up with rebounds, and they're all just gelling together and finally taking the weight off of Jalen Wilson and Grady Dick. But if you guys seen in the battle for Atlantis, it was kind of struggling in the last Tennessee game, even against the Badgers. You know, it was a great putback by Bobby Pettiford, but you know, it was just a lot of things to work on. So yeah.
Yeah, that battle for Atlantis, it was great to see Bill back, and some things we saw from the first game against North Carolina State was the Grady Dick career high of 25 points. He had 6 threes in the first half. Since then, I think teams are starting to pick up that he has a very high percentage of three-point percentage, so that's definitely giving him a hard time to make those threes. But Grady Dick looks good all tournament. And then the second round against Wisconsin, 69-68, breaking down some of the little things. We saw Zach Clements with the huge rebound, giving it to McCullough with the shot. And then you mentioned Bobby Pettiford was able to close it down. So some luck there might have gotten us to that last game. And then obviously it was the unfortunate finish against Tennessee all around. They just did not look good. They lost 64-50. They were able to bounce back, though, against Texas Southern, like you said. But a lot of good things we've seen. Anything else?
Oh, yeah. Bobby Pettiford has been playing phenomenal, too, even though he's been absent for some games with injuries. But since he was injured last year, since he's came back, he's been playing great. And he's bringing the shooting slump. And so is Grady Dick. And they're improving on their free throws. They just need to work on their turnovers. But, yeah.
I think this team's very young. There'll be some growing pains, but I think throughout the year, I think the team will be more unified. They'll grow better as a team, and they'll keep getting better.
They are currently 8-1 and second in Big 12 behind Texas, so a lot to look forward to for the men's team as well. Thank you guys for joining our last segment of Hawk Talk, and we'll be back with weather after the break.
Welcome back to Good Morning KU Sports. I'm Erin Borders here with the weather update. We are going to have a cold front come through our area tonight, and then volleyball is playing in Lincoln tonight as well. Women's basketball and track and field are playing this weekend at home. Track and field are actually going to be indoors this time. So let's go ahead and take a look outside. Right now we are at 52 degrees this morning, and it is actually kind of cloudy to start the day, but we are looking at a very windy day today. The wind right now is coming out of the south at about 20 miles per hour, and those wind speeds are only going to stay around and get stronger as the days go on. But that wind is also going to move some of the clouds out throughout the day and into the overnight hours. I do see us getting up into the 60s today, so it's going to be much warmer than these earlier days this week have been. But again, watch that wind because we are seeing wind speeds, sustained winds in the 20 miles per hour range. We can see wind gusts probably up into 30 mile per hour range. So that wind is going to make it feel cooler, and it's just going to be very strong as you are out and about today. And then we're going to take a quick look at the volleyball team up in Lincoln, Nebraska. They are going to have a cold front come through during the time that they are playing. So when they start the game, it's going to be about 40 degrees for them, so not too bad. At the time of starting, the wind chill is going to be 27 degrees, and that is because of the wind, like I've previously mentioned. That cold front is going to come through as they are playing, and I'm going to flip over here real quick. You can see that well-defined cold front come down from the north, and it's going to come through during their game. And so after their game is over, it's going to be much colder as you are getting out of there. It's going to be in the 20s, maybe the teens. So that cold front is currently coming through slowly, and it's going to hit Nebraska maybe right around dinner time, 6-7 p.m. And then for our Kansas area, as the animation comes through again, we are going to see it a bit into the later evening hours, but we are going to see it tonight, and we are going to feel the effects tomorrow. So let me jump real quick. I know our track and field are playing indoors, so thankfully indoors, they're gonna have nice weather there. But outside, getting to that area in Lawrence, Kansas, it's going to be cold tomorrow morning, and that is because of the cold front. It's going to be 33 degrees, but with that wind chill, it's going to be a bit calmer for a wind, but the wind chill is going to be up in the 26s for that morning. And then here's a look at the hourly planner for Saturday. We are not going to get too warm. Tomorrow we are going to stay in the 30s. Again, that wind chill is not really budging, even though the winds are pretty calm. And then in the evening hours, we are going to be in the 20s. So it is just going to be pretty cold all around because of that cold front coming through tonight. And then just one last look, we have our women's basketball team playing on Sunday here in Lawrence, and they are also indoors, but outside of that stadium, it is going to be 43 degrees here in Lawrence, and we are looking at a high of 50 for Sunday, so that'll be a little bit nicer. And let me go to the full 7-day forecast here for you. So Saturday, going to be pretty cold. Sunday, going to be slightly warmer, and we are going to kind of see us settle out around the high 40s, maybe low 50s for the rest of this last week of the semester actually. And I have on here, let me step this way, our stop day is looking like it's going to be cloudy and a little bit chilly, but hopefully it can warm up a little bit for that last day of the semester. And that is all I have for a weather update. I'm going to send it right over to Liam for some college football playoffs.
Good morning, KU. I'm Liam Carson, and I'm back to preview the college football playoff picture pre-conference championship. So starting off, I just want to show you the rankings from Tuesday. These are the final rankings before Selection Sunday. And some things to note is no team has ever jumped from 7 up into the top 4. So we can say pretty easily it's down to these 6 for these final 4 spots. And I've got 2 teams that are locks. I think they've done enough already throughout the season to make it in. Georgia, they beat Tennessee. They have great wins. They're 12-0, and they're going to be playing a pretty good LSU team. So even if they lose, I think they're still in. And then Michigan, they've got the best win of the season, going on the road, number 2 Ohio State in the shoe, and they beat them by 2 scores. And then these are the 2 teams I think need to win. USC, if they lose to Utah, they're out. I don't think a 2-loss Pac-12 team is going to get in. And TCU, I think that they can still get in with a loss. It's just going to have to be close. If they get blown out by K-State, I'm not so sure they'll be in. And then I got Ohio State here. If USC loses, they're going to move right up into that 4 slot. And if TCU gets blown out, who knows, they might get in that spot too. And then if USC and TCU both lose, I think that Alabama, a lot of people said that they're out, but I mean, it's kind of opening up for them if both of them lose, if TCU gets blown out. If Bama only lost to Tennessee and LSU, both on the road by a combined 4 points, and I'm wondering if the committee could choose them over a 1-loss TCU. And this is my most likely outcome. We got Georgia at number 1, playing USC, and then Michigan and TCU. I think this is what's going to happen. If USC beats Utah tonight, I think that pretty much locks it all up, unless TCU gets blown out. And that's all I have for you.
MP's got 12, and a big question mark for MP.
We are back to preview some of the best upcoming college and NFL football matchups of this weekend.
This weekend in college football will feature conference championships.
Starting tonight, number 11 college football playoff ranked Utah and 4 ranked USC will face off in Vegas for a rematch of their October 15th matchup. This time, there will be a Pac-12 title on the line. Utah won the first time, but only by a slim 1-point margin, giving USC its only regular season loss. USC needs this win to clinch its spot in the college football playoff. Tune in tonight at 7 p.m. on Fox for the Pac-12 championship.
Tomorrow, number 3 and 12-0 TCU will play number 10 K-State in Jerry's World for the Big 12 championship. This game will be a rematch from their October 22nd matchup. TCU won the first time, and they look to win again to solidify a Big 12 championship and a spot in the college football playoff. Tune in to ABC at 11 a.m. for the game.
The SEC championship will feature number 1 and 12-0 Georgia and number 14 LSU in Atlanta. LSU looks to pull off the upset, but the Bulldogs stand in their way. Tune in to CBS on Saturday at 3 p.m. for the SEC championship.
The final 2 Power 5 championships will be the Big 10 and ACC. Number 9 ranked Clemson will face number 23 ranked North Carolina in Charlotte with an ACC title on the line. Number 2 ranked Michigan will face unranked Purdue in Indianapolis for the Big 10 title. These games both kick off at 7 p.m. Big 10 on Fox and ACC on ABC.
A great slate of conference championships, but the NFL has some great games to offer on Sunday.
The NFC East race is tightening up. As of right now, all 4 teams are in the playoff spot. The 7-5 Commanders will travel to play the 7-4 Giants in a huge NFC East matchup.
We have 2 possible Super Bowl previews this weekend. The 7-4 Titans will travel to face the 10-1 Eagles. Both of these teams want this win to prove they can reach the Super Bowl. The next possible Super Bowl preview is the 7-4 49ers, as they will host the 8-3 Dolphins. Both of these squads are getting hot at the right time, and this should be a great matchup.
Let's send it over to Walker with his last locks.
Welcome back. Last week we went 6-2, so pretty good week. This week, championship week for college football. First one, I will take the UCF and Tulane over 56.5. I think both offenses are very high-powered. I think the winner of this game, it's going to be a shootout. Look for that over. I will also be taking tonight in the USC game, the Pac-12 championship. I would be taking the Trojans against Utah. I think a little revenge game. They have a lot at stake. Heisman hopeful, Caleb Williams. I think there's a lot at stake for them. I think they come back, and I think they win by a touchdown or even more. NFL slate, very good slate this week. Surprising here, I'm going to take the Chiefs first half over 13.5 points. Why? I think the Bengals, they make really good second half adjustments. I don't want to mess with the full total, but I will take the first half total. 2 touchdowns, I think that's easy for the Chiefs. Betting with my heart, so if this one doesn't hit, double hurts, but we'll go with it. Next one, Falcons. I like the Birds this week. I like the Birds a lot this week. All Bird teams. But I like the Falcons at home, +1 against the Steelers. Steelers, I think, are getting too much credit for a win over the Colts on Sunday night last week. I think the Falcons are a good team. I think Cordell Patterson has a big game. Last NFL one, Giants +2.5 at home versus Washington. The Commanders, I think the Giants defense will give Heineke and that Commanders offense a tough time, and I think the Giants will pull it out with some run game and some defense. Lastly, some props to look for. Isaiah Pacheco over rushing yards versus the Bengals. I think the Bengals are going to drop 8, leave 3, or rush 3, drop 8, and I think our run game will prove that we will be able to move the ball against them. I think he's going to – we're projected over 65.5. I think if it's anywhere around there, I think I'm taking the over, and I think you should too. Next, I'm going to have Trevor Lawrence over passing yards versus the Lions. Lions, very poor defense. Projected over-under for his total passing yards is 252.5. If it's around there, I would take that over. Lastly, my last two ones, pick or choose which one you want. Jalen Waddle, anytime TD versus the 49ers. I think they're going to pay a lot of attention to Tyreek Hill. I think he's going to come and get in the end zone this week. Or Nick Chubb, over rushing yards. A defense in the Houston Texans that is allowing the most rushing yards, and I think Nick Chubb is going to go off against them. Good luck this week. I need it. You need it. Now we're going to send it back to the host for some FIFA World Cup preview.
Thanks, Walker, for those picks. I hope you make a lot of money this weekend. The World Cup will finish up with the group stage today with 4 games: Korea versus Portugal and Uruguay versus Ghana. Both of them kicked off at 9 a.m. this morning. Cameroon plays top-ranked Brazil, while Serbia faces off against Switzerland at 1 p.m. today.
The United States punched its ticket to the knockout round with a 1-0 win over Iran this Tuesday. A first-half goal by Christian Pulisic was just enough to get the U.S. the 3 points they needed to move on, along with the winner of Group B, England.
The U.S. will face off against the Netherlands Saturday at 9 a.m. with Argentina and Australia kicking off their game at 1 p.m. Make sure to keep an eye out on right wing Christian Pulisic, still nursing a pelvic injury suffered on his heroic goal in the game against Iran.
The Netherlands have been stout defensively, only allowing 1 goal in their 3 games of group play. The United States are underdogs with a plus 310 odd to win.
And that was Talking Soccer.
Thanks, Walker, and thanks to everyone who has made this possible.
We hope everyone has a safe holiday and an even better New Year.
From your crew of Good Morning KU, Rock Chalk.
Good morning, KU Sport.